Good morning, everybody. We are heading into our woodlot this morning. This is our land up here. And we're cutting a little bit of a red pine. So we'll explain some of the troubles we're having even today because of the weather, actually. So we're up at our woodlot here now, and we have Duke and Bill with us this morning. And I want to explain a few things about what's going on in this particular lot. As you can see by my tires, we have been dealing with a little bit of mud. So where we are right now is where we have to get our logs to for our log truck to pick them up. And I had my excavator out here, and we spent a few hours, well, a few short days actually, working on this pile right here, and the excavator was piling it up. But then, with the troubles I ran into out in my trail, I did something a little bit different, so I'm going to go show you what I'm doing out there. So it is a quite chilly morning this morning. It was about 10 above 0 Fahrenheit this morning. And we're going through, we just went through one of our wet spots, and it seems pretty solid. Cuffs up. So we'll go down to the wet spot that's been giving us more troubles, and we'll see what it looks like this morning. So yesterday morning, I went up to Portsmouth College to inspect that job that we'll be working on this winter. And then yesterday afternoon, we were able to come in here and work for a few hours with Earl and Baron. And we skidded one hitch all the way out to landing at the end of the day. And before that, we did something a little bit different, and I will show you. Okay, so here is our wet spot that we were dealing with, and I'm curious to see even now if it's frozen all the way through. I did track it a little bit with the excavator because I drove the excavator out here, and I'll show you why. But we were digging in fairly deep, and there's been many years in the past where I would have just skidded right through this mud and not worried about it. But I don't know, maybe as I get older, I just don't feel like doing that so much. And especially with Duke and Bill, they have their snow pads on. And I don't know, I just feel that it's a higher chance of getting some of this mud and slop underneath the snow pad, and it just could affect their feet. So I really didn't want to go through here, at least for those guys. And even yesterday when I brought my last hitch through here, I was surprised how deep Earl and Baron were going into this mud. So we decided to try something different, and I will show you that even now. Okay, ho. No. No. Ho. 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 So these two ho, were outside all day yesterday, and today they're feeling pretty good because they haven't worked for a little while. Ho. And careful step. So let's see if we break through the mud any through here. Ho. As you can see, we most definitely are breaking through the mud. Careful step. So I really only have maybe 10,000 feet of red pine I want to cut right now. And then after that, I'll probably be heading to Portsmouth College. But because of that little amount that I have, there's several things and several ways I could have gone about this. But it's such a short skid to my landing, and we've got such cold weather in the forecast, I decided I'm just going to wait and let it freeze. And I do think that a couple more days of this weather should put it down so there's nothing it should be all frozen where the mud is. So, oh, let me explain a few things here. Oh. Careful step. Careful. Duke is doing so much better around that excavator, but he still, it still does bother him some. Over here. I cuffed up. So because of that, I brought him up here, and I'm going to do something right now that I would highly suggest you do not do. The reason I'm going to do it is I'm right here, but I just want to go show you what's going on here on my little landing that I have here. So as you can see, I tied these horses with the lines to a tree. There's nothing behind the cart, so there's nothing from stopping them from backing up. They can't go ahead, but they could back up. This is a very, very, very bad situation to have. So this is why I highly suggest you basically never ever do this, because if they start backing up, it's just a nightmare. It just does not turn out well. But I'm right here, so if they start to back up for any reason, I'm going to quick run up here and grab them. So it's okay. But what I wanted to show you is I have the excavator out here. And yesterday, instead of skidding these logs all the way down to the landing where we need to get to for the truck, I decided to just skid them right to here. I have one tree right there. And then I have these trees over here. 99% of the trees I'm cutting are red pine. I do have one white pine here, and I actually got a couple of really straight, nice Scotch pine in here. But the buyer wants as many 12 footers as possible. So most of my logs in that pile right there are, 25 feet long for 2 12s. And they'll be cut in half when I get to the other landing. For right now, all I'm doing is skidding up this trail and put 2 or 3 logs here, and then I'll take the excavator and just push it into a pile. And then when my road is frozen good enough so I'm not in the mud, I will come back down in here, and I'll probably even leave the excavator right here so that I can actually grab the excavator and pick some of these up if I need to get chains on, and then I'll just skid them right out to the road. It won't take long at all, short distance like this, to get them skidded out onto the other landing where they're going to be piled up and then will be shipped to the mill. So that's what we're dealing with here on this job today. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. There's little or no wind at all, and it is cold temperatures, yes, but for working horses, you just can't beat this type of day. So we'll head down and cut a tree or two and get logging. So I got Duke safely tied to a tree, and these are some of the red pines that we will be cutting. They're not very big in diameter, but they're actually fairly old. So I'm kind of doing, I don't know what you call them, kind of strip plots where I cut a bunch of them and leave a bunch of them. And so as we're coming up this trail right here, I'm cutting basically all the red pine in a strip. That's just what I've decided to do. And the guy that wants them is going to be mostly using them for 2x4s. So they're not very big in diameter. Some of them are pretty good size, but a lot of them are fairly small in diameter, but they're all the same age. And so we're gonna cut them down. Red pine is sometimes hard to get rid of in my area. So whenever I have somebody that wants to buy some red pine, I like to take advantage of it and cut a bunch of them and get them out for them. As you see, we do have one white pine right there, which I will cut also, 1 or 2 actually. And but mostly we're just cutting red pine. Also, guys, I bought a new saw. I bought another 572. I really like these saws. I know there's been some issues with these saws, but I've had really good luck with my other saw, and so hopefully I'll have good luck with this one. I wasn't desperate for a saw, but I was getting close to being desperate, and I decided I better get one ordered while I can. So I ended up ordering this one and got this bought, and yeah, I'm happy with it so far. I have my other 572 with us here today, and that works really good to have two saws close by in case you get into trouble. But let's get to cutting some of these red pine. Oh, no. 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 Back here. Back. Back. Ha, little bit. Ha. Ha. Hup. Step pa. Step pa. Oh. Back. Happy. 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 Yep, G. G. Careful. Oh. Huh? 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 Oh. No.
No.
Help. Help. Give it a bit. Oh. No. Oh. Oh. Now then a Duke ho. 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 Back. Ho. Right there. Oh. Back. Oh. Just a bit. Oh. Bah. Bah. Oh. Oh. Nice step. Oh. Oh. Bye. Up here. Here we are. Oh. Nice step. Okay guys, I wasn't really planning on doing a lot of filming today. It's cold and I need to get some work done, but when I come across something a little bit interesting, I like to share it. And so here's the tree that I cut right here. And where I've been doing most of my skidding is over here. That's my main trail. I do have another trail up through here that I took the last part of the pine that I cut yesterday up out of here. And so I have two options. Being we have all these trees right here, to get onto that trail over there, I'd have to cut this log into really short logs, and I don't want to do that. So my other option is to hitch onto the butt right here, pull it up this embankment, and go across towards my saw there, and then I'd cut it in half, and because of lack of trees, I can swing it out of here all right. And that's what I'm going to try and do. It's a fairly, it's a full-length tree, and actually I'm hauling full-length trees up all the time, but it's surprising how much harder a full-length tree uncut is compared to two halves. Two halves will always pull easier than a full-length tree. But I cut this stump down at an angle, so it should slide right up through there, although I'm not going to be able to get as close as I'd like to because of these little trees right here, although I could cut one if I needed to, but I think we shouldn't have a problem. So we'll see how it goes. Another problem I see I'm going to have is I can't get a chain around that, so I'm going to have to use logging tongs, so I can't roll it, which I don't think is an issue because it still should work fine. Step ha. Yep, bye. Yep, bye. Yep, bye. 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 Oh. Happy little more. Bye. Bye. Ha. 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 Oh. Bye. Ho. 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 Let me get off. Ho. We got a stump here. Ho. We got to pop over. Bop here. Huh? Oh. Oh. Hip. Hip. Help. Oh, nice step. Oh. 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 So I was going to split this tree in half, and I still am, but instead of, I'm just going to do it a different way. G, 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 G. Oh, Apa. Huh? Huh? Bafia. Bafia. Ha, ha. Tepa. Ha. Oh, bye. Huh? Oh. Oh. Fortunately, these trees really aren't that tall. I'm generally getting 4 12-foot logs out of them. And so I'm going to cut it right here. Because of the slope here, this end should come up in the air. And then I can get a chain on it easy enough. Oh, burn, Duke, back up here. Oh, oh, ha, 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 ha. Back. Huh? Back up here, Duke. Oh, these, there's too many days where these horses aren't working steadily. That's a good thing and a bad thing. Because of that, they have a lot of energy. Because of that energy, I can get a lot of work done. But it's also a bit of a pain. They don't always mind quite as good because they're young as they should. And that will just come with time. Fortunately, a good bill will stay in good while we're getting hitched on. Oop. 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 Oh. Do a little bit. Careful. Oh. Might be ha. Ha. Oop, ha. 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 Oh. And careful. Keep careful. Careful. Oh. Not bad. Oh. No. So with this angle that I'm going to be heading out, the chances of potentially flipping this car are a little bit higher. But let's see if I can get out of here and I'll tell you what I did to maybe stop that. See a little bit. G. Careful, 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 careful. Oh. So what happens if I had just hitched onto the one at that angle, the one on this side here, it would have had a very high chance of flipping the cart over. But since I had the other one over, that actually helps hold the cart down. So it's actually less apt to flip when I have 2 logs on coming from different angles. So that worked just well. So I've got to shut the camera down and get to work so I can get some logs out without doing too much camera work from here on in. Oh. Yep. Well guys, that's about it for this part of the video. We had talked some about coming back tonight and talking to you guys and actually answering some of your questions. You've been giving us quite a few questions that I'd like to answer, but it just hasn't happened yet. So who knows, maybe tonight we'll see you again. Hey. Hey. Hi, step. Step. Oh. Bye. Bye. Up here. Oh. Here. G. G. Oh. Okay guys, I had a good day in the woods. Cold day, but a good day. And as you can see, it's snowing a little bit right now, which concerns me because my mud holes, if I get snow on top of them, it's going to insulate it and it may not even freeze as good as I'd hope to. We have a bunch of questions. Brenda's with me tonight and she's going to ask me a bunch of questions, but I'm going to do my work here while I answer questions. So.
Okay, well let me get my questions out that all of you have asked.
By the way, before you start the questions, I was debating about this afternoon taking Earl and Baron up, but I decided to, since I had Duke and Bill all harnessed up, and they really didn't work that hard this morning because it was such a short skid because of the way I had it set up to do the job. So I decided I'm going to work those two all day. So that's what I did. I had actually an easier day with them in the afternoon because I didn't put a full afternoon in with them. But that was actually the first semi-full day that Duke has ever done in the woods. So we're trying to get him in good shape so that when I get to Paul Smith's, I can go every other day with the teams, and so that they can work full days up at Paul Smith's. And I will be getting there hopefully in the next couple weeks.
There's
So,
Duke.
Brenda, let's get some questions going.
Okay, here's a question from James Cooper. Jim, as a non-farmer, it looks like your horses only drink water once or twice a day, coming and going from the barn. How does a horse do that?
Well, we just show videos, and our videos are usually, you know, just a tiny, tiny portion of our day. So it's interesting why people think that the horses only get watered once or twice a day by watching my videos, because there's so much of the day that you don't actually see. But that being said, they do not have water in front of them at all times. And yes, they do have to come and drink out of the tub if they're inside. But I have been told, and I don't know this firsthand, but I believe it's true, horses in the wild will actually only drink like once a day. They'll travel a lot of country to eat grass, and it will actually only sometimes just drink once a day. But anyways, that being said, I do water my horses considerably more than 2 times a day. I'm in here quite often, and I might water them 6 times a day. And in the process of that, I'm right there with them, so I know how much they drink. So, and if you look at these horses, it surely, I know you're not complaining, but it does, as you can see, they are in pretty good health the way I'm doing it. So that's a good thing. I'm gonna unplug my heater here because some horses are bothered by that. But I don't know what Baron's problem is, but anyways, what's the next question? Brenda calls me pushy, and I guess I am.
Violet Zug. Some of these are older questions, but then we have some from the last video too. I have a question which has me scratching my head. You have all those animals, cattle, calves, horses, fillies, looking for room to house, pen them up. Yet there's a whole other side of the barn with stalls not being used. I know you have your setup, but why is it not being used for the animals? It just makes sense.
That's a good question. I'm assuming you're meaning the old cow barn. The old cow barn is not big enough for horses. The very young ones could fit in there, but it's just not big enough. There's not enough headroom for horses. So unfortunately, it just will not work for horses. Also, we have it filled with lumber, so it really isn't an option there. Maybe that's not what you're talking about. Maybe you're talking about some other part of the barn, but my barn is pretty well used up with whatever it's used up with. So we really can't do too much different than what we're doing. All right, go ahead.
Can a pair of your horses pull the new dump trailer, utilizing a different horsepower?
Well, when I bought the dump trailer, I was kind of thinking maybe they could, but after a few times of unloading the dump trailer, I've come to the conclusion that maybe they still could, but I don't think I'd try. I think it would scare them right to death when whatever is in the trailer lets go and rolls out of there. I just would not consider using that with the horses, although I was hoping to when I first got it.
Okay. Jim, here's a question. I'm sure you've answered before, but here goes anyways. I noticed your wood furnace smoking away in this video, and I was wondering how often a day you have to stoke it with wood.
In the summertime, once a day. In the wintertime, twice.
Do you, all the horses are listening, so be careful what you say. Do you intend on selling any of the horses?
I have no plans on selling the horses right now. We'll leave it at that.
That makes all the horses feel good. Hi, wondering if you have heat in the barn for the boys and girls.
I do, as a matter of fact. And the heat comes directly off the horses. It's amazing with any animals how much heat comes off their bodies to heat the area around them. It's still a cold horse barn, but they definitely do heated up a lot more than a barn that has no animals in it. Come back.
Billy's ready.
As you can see, when I'm leading one horse in, I will just reach over and unhitch the other horse to get them going out with, kind of to speed up the process of getting the watering done. At night like this, after a logged all day especially, I really don't care to be out here. I don't care to do other stuff with the horses. I just want to get the job done so I can go sit in my easy chair. I guess I'm kind of lazy, but so I really do want to get it done as fast as I can.
How many different bits do you have to use, and when or how do you know which to use on any animal?
Okay, who's this from?
This is from Corey Akers.
Corey Akers had, I'm not sure who you are, but he had a whole bunch of questions here on this last video. So as far as bits, I just have 2 different bits that I use. Bill here has a wire bit in his mouth. All of the rest of the horses just have a smooth snaffle bit. And that's basically all the bits I ever use. Yeah, that's pretty well it. Just basically snaffle bits.
So everybody's going to wonder, why are you using a wire bit on Billy?
Because Bill, at times, is kind of hard to hold. And that extra little bit helps him some, although I've tried different things with him. And I take that back, because I have used rubber bits quite a bit. I do have some rubber bits. And I like to use rubber bits, especially in the wintertime, because when it's cold in a steel bit, you got to take your gloves off and warm the bit up before you put it in the mouths, whereas a rubber bit, you don't have to. And I've actually used a rubber bit on Bill, and really wasn't a heck of a lot of difference. He was hard to hold with a rubber bit. He's hard to hold with a twisted wire bit. So, but I guess I just got the twisted wire one in there now, and I have for years, and I'll just probably continue doing that.
Why do you clip their hair in the winter? And how much do you take off their tails?
Why do I clip their hair in the winter? I clip the hair all year round. So it's not any different winter or summer. And how much do I take off their tails? I like to have my tails down to their hocks.
Because if you didn't trim these, they'd probably be down
on the ground,
almost
yes.
to the ground. So that's how much
Yes.
they're trimmed, really.
Yep. Next question.
Oh, here it is. Should I have shavings under my halflingers that are in stalls? And what about the gutters? They're old cow stanchions. Should they?
Okay, so this is a guy that apparently has his halflingers in a cow barn like I have, which I just a few minutes ago said horses won't fit in there. But halflingers are kind of half between ponies and horses, so they would fit into this cow barn also, whereas my big horses would not. They have gutters. A lot of them have gutters behind them. You know, do they need to be filled in to put horses in? Not necessarily, as long as they fit properly. Do they need a lot of bedding? A lot of bedding would be best. Rubber mats would be nice with bedding on top, if possible, because it would be a concrete floor. It's just one of those things that more expense to do it, but it does improve the horse's comfort.
But if someone didn't have availability to sawdust, they could use hay, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, hay would work fine. Yep. Or straw. Yep.
Yep. Okay. Jim, you've mentioned that you started with your father. What about your grandfather?
My heritage with horse logging goes back, I think, many, many generations. My grandfather, I'm sure when in his younger years, he did a lot of horse logging. He also actually helped run sawmills too. But my father actually grew up in logging camps, so that means my grandfather was in the logging camps doing logging and would have been logging with horses. So it goes back a long ways.
But we were talking this morning that you don't remember, your grandfather died when you were an early teen, and you don't remember really working
And I
horses
don't
with him.
I don't recall any conversations with him about logging with horses, but I'm just sure he did, because the guys back then, most of them did, during the wintertime especially.
Okay, there was one question about cats falling in the water tub, and I do give them water every day, but it has frozen over. But anyways, can they get out if they fall in?
The answer is yes,
Yes, they can,
because I've seen them go in before.
but we've
must-
never had one drown.
It must be cold in the wintertime when they go in there.
Well, it doesn't happen
But
very often.
Is there
does it?
water there now in the bowl?
It froze over. I got to give them some more water.
Get down, cat.
Because we just fill the water tub in the morning, and so it's up to the top, but it's amazing how much they go through in a day, these horses. Jim, what do you do with your beef that you raise? Where do you sell the beef?
We have just local buyers, and so we just sell them to locals.
Maybe, Jim, they don't want their manes trimmed. Why do you trim the manes, especially the forelock?
Well, they've never told me they didn't want them trimmed. I think what they asked me, why do I do it? I do it for,
Why do you do it?
Yeah.
Yeah, especially
I-
the forelock.
well, the forelock is actually the very first thing I always clip off. I hate forelocks. I've got them on these girls right here, but that's the first thing it goes, because I hate it when and I'm so different than so many people, I'm sure, but I hate having this here when you put a bridle on. It's just a pain for me. As far as the manes go, I feel I do it as much for their comfort as anything, because when horses are worked like I work them with collars, the mane underneath the collar is always a nuisance for the horse. And if that is gone, it's so much better for their comfort. So I do it for their comfort.
Well, it's also way easier to take care of them,
It is.
the brushing and everything. But
When you pull a collar off a horse, it's all sweaty and there, and with the hair behind it, the hair is all matted up, and the fact that they have to, when they're working, it's got to be pulling that hair in the process of pulling with a collar. So I do it for their comfort.
And somebody asked about why don't you give them a bath before you trim their manes?
I don't give them a bath for two reasons. I don't have a bathtub that's big enough for them, and it's the middle of winter time, so I surely would not want to give them a bath in the middle of winter time.
That's Jim's joke, the bathtub thing.
It's true, I don't.
If you ask Jim something, he listens to it and takes it literally, and then he makes a joke out of it, which does make me laugh.
Not as much as Skippy makes her laugh.
This morning, when he was yawning in the truck, that was just the best. I love that. I hope you guys caught that.
Well, we are at the end of the list. I thank you guys for putting questions on. And this is just an easier way for me to answer these questions than to write them all down in the comments. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you have a great evening. And my recliner is calling me, I am sure. So I'm gonna go and see if I can stay awake until it's bedtime. And you guys have a great night. We'll see you next time.
I have two things to say. Number one, he won't stay awake until bedtime, but probably neither will I. And then number two, I just wanted to say that we are having a sale on calendars. We still have a few left. So they'll be $5 off. So get them while you can.
Goodbye.
Good night, boys and girls.
Look at the snow.